And you can start the mission statement, Irene.
Okay. Our mission. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and evidence for the afterlife in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and allow for open dialogue. Attendance today at this meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Thank you, and thank you again, Melinda, and welcome. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And I need to introduce you before you get started. I'm so glad that that you are here. But I just want to first say again that Melinda has been a huge part of healing many of the parents of Helping Parents Heal. She was a part of our first conference. She was going to be a part of our second conference, and she will be. Melinda Kushner is an evidential spiritual medium, teacher, psychic, and inspirational speaker. As a third-generation medium, she has spent her life challenging taboo views of mediumship and the spirit world. Melinda studied at the world's foremost college for the advancement of spiritualism and psychic sciences, the Arthur Findlay College in England, where she began a lifelong mentorship and friendship with the world-famous medium Mavis Pittilla and international tutor and medium Paul Jacobs. As you all know, Mavis and Paul have spoken to our group, and their YouTube videos are available on our Helping Parents Heal YouTube channel. Melinda believes learning is a lifelong process. Melinda continues studying at Arthur Findlay in Stansted, UK, and the House of Spirit in Hannover, Germany. She blends all of her medical training and psychic instincts to create a greater understanding of God's gifts to us and how to utilize them to develop ourselves, help others, and the spirit world. To learn more about Melinda or to book a session with her, visit her website at www.melindakushner.com. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming Melinda Kushner.
Thank you so much. It's such a lot to say. It makes you feel uncomfortable on the receiving end of that. But thank you, Elizabeth.
You're very special, though. So.
Thank you. Gosh, you know, I want to be able to talk very first to all of you parents, and I want you to know right from the beginning, I do not have a child in spirit. I think it's so important that everybody understands that, because with that, I want to be able to say to you, the reason I say that is so if I ever come across that I actually understand exactly how you feel, I don't want to be that person, because I don't understand exactly how you feel. I can only share with you what the spirit world has shown to me when our loved ones go into spirit. And that's what I want to talk about with you. I want to talk about the difficulties that we here on earth think about. You know, we're here, we're humans, we all have to put words to things, right? You know, we put words to things like pain, we put words to things like anguish and suffering, and all of these things that we put words to. When in reality, in the spirit world, it's emotions. So when I was learning to be the medium that I thought I should be, I had to learn to understand what emotions mean, because our spirit world, our loved ones, communicate to us through their emotions. So when they come through and they start talking to me, I always tell people it's kind of like playing charades, right? Because they give us these wonderful things that we're supposed to know, and we're supposed to feel, and we're supposed to understand. And it's up to us as mediums to keep an open mind, to understand everything that they're showing us. So, you know, and I put this into perspective, is if you say to a 5-year-old, we talk about age, right? And if you say, look at that person, they look so old. Well, to a 5-year-old, 20-year-old's going to look old, right? To me, I go, wow, that is such a young person at 20. So it's all about perspective. So we have to think about perspective when we're thinking about ourselves, when we're thinking about the mediums that you connect with in the spirit world when they come through to share the information with you. So I want you to, hopefully, to keep a very open mind and keep that understanding that, you know, just because I'm this kind of medium doesn't make me the only kind of medium out there. There's all kinds of mediums that can share and can relate to you, give you that greater understanding. So all of this is per my immediate knowledge from what the spirit world comes through and shows me. So when I do readings, they share things with me. So mediumship brings back your loved ones. They bring them back to prove to you that life and love is everlasting. So when we leave this human world and we go into the next world, we bring who we are into that next world. And that next world is called a mental world. In the mental world, we are received, we're brought there. It doesn't matter how we pass, by the way. I think that that's really important for all of you to know. It doesn't matter how we pass. It doesn't matter what we've ever done in our lives. If you have a loved one that has taken themselves into the spirit world, or you have a loved one that has died a very long, slow passing when you're older, we all go to the material world. We are all joined by our loved ones and our guides in that material world. Again, no matter what. My belief, there is no hell. I think it's very, very important that you know that there is no hell. And if we had to put a name on hell, we can go back to those words, I would say it's us. It's here on earth, right? We look at everything that we're going through. We look at everything that we're understanding. We look at everything that we're trying to endure. And what we're trying to endure here is that understanding of forgiveness. And that's the biggest part of what we are here for. Forgiveness, understanding, and love. As our soul moves into the spirit, moves into the spirit world, and we go into the material world, there is where we're greeted again with our other loved ones and our guides. And the best part of that, I think, is that if you, whatever it is you want to create that maybe you didn't get to create when you're here, or you want to eat anything you want to eat when you get to the other side, or I always say I want to live in a castle with a bunch of housekeepers, because I'm tired of cleaning my house. So anyways, we get to go into that spirit world. We get to create whatever is the most comfort for us. You know, you hear a lot of people saying, you know, I saw the light when I got to the end, or, you know, I saw nothing but beautiful colors. That's the spirit world giving you that ease into the other side, giving you the comfort to know that when we cross into the spirit world, there's nothing but ease and love. So when we get to the material world, we get to create whatever it is we want to create. Our loved ones are with us. They're guiding us. And I have to say to you, that's even for any of you that have a baby in spirit, right? Because that baby in spirit is coddled and loved and held by other loved ones that's in spirit. And if you sit there and think, oh my gosh, there's nobody that I know in spirit, how, or they didn't know my child, why would they go there? We are all connected through the soul. We are all there together. Those loved ones that have been in spirit before will cuddle your baby. They're guides that brought them to you prior to coming here on earth. They're the same ones that are there with them on the other side as well. So we create this love on the other side. We create the comfort, the ease into what we get to do with our life when we get there. We get that free will, the same free will that we have here, we get to have in the spirit world as well. because we get to make the choices as to how we're going to progress through. So if you want to sit in the material world for however long you want to sit there, then that's what you do. Or you have that free will to move forward into the next world. And you know, there's worlds within worlds within worlds in the spirit world. The next world after the mental world is it's called the etheric world. And within that etheric world, there's so many levels, so many worlds within that spirit world. And we, as our souls, get to progress into that next spirit world. We get to keep growing and understanding. I've been brought, it's just been beautiful. The spirit world has shared with me. I have been brought to such deep levels of a greater understanding as to what happens to our soul when we get to that other side. What happens to our souls when we choose to go through our free wills, our understanding, and our growth within the spirit world, and how incredibly beautiful our souls are. They glow. They're just gorgeous. But I will say this to you, because so many people ask about reincarnation. Are our children reincarnated, and we don't get to have our children there in the spirit world when we go there? People always worry about that. And I am here to tell you, absolutely not. Your children will always be there waiting for you. Have they gone and gotten smarter than you when they get to the spirit world? Have they grown? Have they had that free will? Absolutely. But it doesn't mean ever that they're going to be born and brought into another person's life back here on earth. And if we choose to be reincarnated, if we choose to go down that path, we don't choose it until all of our loved ones are in the spirit world with us. And because we have such worry that our children aren't going to be there with us, we create that more and more of that anxiety inside of us and that worry. And all I can say to you is there has never been a time ever when I have sat down to do a reading for a person, and again, no matter how their loved ones has passed, never have they not come through. And if they haven't, I will say this, or if they're difficult to come through, it's because I'm not getting it as a medium. It's not because the child isn't there, your loved one isn't there, it's because I'm not getting it. So, or, you know, believe it or not, or they just kind of don't like who that medium is. And I know that sounds crazy because you think, oh my gosh, all the, you know, love, light, blah, blah, blah in the spirit world. But guess what? They still have that same personality. Because when they come through, they still bring that personality through. And if somebody wouldn't have liked me here on earth, they're sure the heck aren't going to like me from the spirit world. And wait maybe for that other person to come through, that other medium to come through, that gives them that comfort to bring your loved ones forward, so that you have that greater understanding of who they are. And remember, when your loved ones come through, they come through with evidence. And I know that I've probably said this so many times before for others of you that have listened to me. Evidence is really important. Evidence of your loved one, truthfully of the evidence, not, oh, they miss you. Oh, they love you. Of course they love you. Of course they're going to miss you. But that's not evidence. Evidence is the truthfulness of who they were when they were here and what you would know about them. So bringing that love of your child, because obviously we're talking here all about your children, bringing that child forward and understanding that they are with you no matter what. They'll bring up fun things that are going on in your life now. I remember I did a reading for a lady once who was, I believe it was her daughter that was in spirit, and she had shared that the parents had received an invitation to a wedding, and the mom was just like, I do not want to go to the wedding. I have no desire to go to the wedding. And the daughter came through and said, you have to go to this wedding. And you just went shopping to look for dresses. And I liked the one dress that she went through the whole details of what dress the mom should have purchased for this wedding. So it's like the daughter was there. She was with her, helping her do the shopping, helping her create that that love. And you know what, I got an email from her afterwards, and she said to me, you know what, I did, I went to that wedding, and you were right, it was very soul healing for her, because sometimes we just don't feel like moving forward. Sometimes we just don't understand, you know, how we're going to take that next step, because grief can become such a big part of our every day, our every breath, our every thought. And to have a medium be able to talk to you and tell you truly what the spirit world has shown, I hope that that gives you that comfort to know that your loved ones are right with you all of the time. They share everything with you. Maybe you don't feel them, maybe you don't get to see them, maybe you don't get to talk to them in the same way, but once you learn to make that connection from your own soul, from your own intuitiveness, from your own psychic ability to connect with your loved ones, can be so healing. I'm sure all of you have heard things, you know, people say, oh, I got a message, or I got a feather, or I got a penny, whatever it is that people get to show that their children, their loved ones are with them. And you're sitting there saying, well, I didn't get anything. You know, you kind of feel like Charlie Brown when he went trick-or-treating and all they got was a rock. And, you know, we have to remember, it's up to you to open yourselves up to understand that you too can connect with your loved ones in spirit. It doesn't make you a medium, but it definitely can give you the ability to sit and have those conversations occasionally with your loved ones. Light that candle. Sit with something that was special of theirs. If you don't have anything that's special of theirs, it doesn't matter. Just know that you can always connect. You can always be there with your children. Not on a daily basis, I have to tell you that. It won't be on a daily basis, but you'll know deep inside of you. You know, my mother did not believe in this work. She thought that mediums were the devil work, and that I was probably going to go to hell when I died. And, you know, we used to laugh about, my mom and I had a very good relationship, and my mom had said to me, about a week before she passed, she said, I hope whatever this is that you do, Melinda, works out great for you. And I said, you mean mediumship, Mom? And she said, yes, I hope it works out great. And I said, but, because I knew there was a big but there. She said, but I hope you find out it's nothing but a bunch of baloney. And we both laughed so hard, because she felt that she was going to go into the spirit world, and she hoped that when she went to heaven, because she was raised very Catholic, that she was actually going to get to heaven at some point in her life. And I kept telling her, Mom, it's beautiful. Don't think that way. Long story short, the day after she passed, she came back to tell me that I was right. It is just as beautiful as I said to her, and there was no fear, there was no sadness, there was nothing. She was so happy to be in the spirit world. And that was about 4.5 years ago, and I have to tell you, I still have communication with my mom. Now, is it all the time? No, but she shares some beautiful things with me. And I ask her to give me the evidence, you know, to make sure that I'm not making it up in my head, because believe it or not, you know, I'm a medium, and just because it's my mom, sometimes I still think I'm making it up in my head too. So I ask my mom for that evidence. When I do readings for all of you parents, for anybody here, I always ask the spirit world when I start the readings to please give me the most healing information they can give to you. And sometimes it isn't who you want to hear from. Sometimes your children will stand to the side and have you talked to your parents, let's say. If you had issues with your parents, because that's the most healing thing, is those that we've had problems with that we hadn't been able to clear when we were here, the spirit world knows that's who we need to speak with from the other side first. So they'll come through, they'll share these things with you. And I've had the kids just be like, no, I'm not going to talk until you have a conversation with grandma. And once you have that conversation with grandma, then we'll be able to talk, because your children, so I would say your children become smarter than you. They know what you need to heal. They know what is best for you. And for me, mediumship has become nothing but healing, teaching other people to heal their own souls. Because, you know, you ever stop and wonder, why do we get to talk to the spirit world? Why is it the spirit world comes here to talk to us? It's not just to say, hey, I'm here. is to say, hey, pay attention to what you're doing with your life. Share with others, heal. Always heal yourself, always forgive others, because what you don't learn here on earth, you're going to have to learn in the spirit world. And I'm here to say to you, it's so much easier to learn that when you're here than in spirit, because there aren't a zillion mediums that can communicate for you to bring these people through. That's why my mediumship actually has become secondary, because healing for me has come first. It's the primary, to teach you, once your loved ones come through, to teach and show to you what you get to heal inside of yourself and with your loved ones that we didn't get to have such a wonderful relationship with when they passed into spirit. Again, that's why we're here. We're here for the healing and the forgiveness. And people will always say, oh my gosh, how do you forgive somebody that's done such horrible, awful things to you? I'm here to tell you, I've had some horrible, awful things happen to me. And you know what? I've forgiven all of those people for it. Because those people that created the disdain in your own life and in your own soul, those are the same people that obviously had a lot of damage inside of their own souls for them to come forward, for them to do what they do to others here. And so we have to think and not judge anybody else that's out there. We can't. We can't. Who are we? Who are we to judge anybody else and not forgive people for what they've done? Doesn't mean you have to be best friends with them. There's a lot of people I'm not best friends with, but I've learned to forgive. And that's so important. And that's what I also say, thank you to the spirit world for giving me a lot of the trials that I've had in my life, because otherwise I would have never been able to understand them at this level in order to be able to teach others how to heal. So, okay, so we have the material world, we have the etheric world. Again, the levels and levels that we have within the etheric world and how our souls get to grow, our lessons that we learn. People always ask, what are my children doing? Are my children working? Are my children, what are they doing? Yeah, they're growing. They are growing, they're learning, they're creating. Some of them become these incredible guides that are just absolutely amazing on the other side. Some of them, actually, I sat down before I turned my computer on to connect with all of you. I've asked all of them to please come to create that healing, to touch each and every one of you while we're sitting here, so that you will feel your child right next to you. Feel your child right next to you, deep within your own soul, knowing that your child is with you. And not only your children, because I see some moms and dads here too. I see siblings here. I think it's so important that we remember it isn't just the people that are as close to us that we're thinking of in the spirit world that wants to be able to connect to you as well. So with that, Elizabeth, are we open for some questions before I start making some connections?
If you would like, I can maybe get some questions in here, but I know that everybody's really excited about the readings, and we only go until 6, or actually we just go
Okay.
1 hour now. Do you suppose that it would be okay to get started? First of all,
Absolutely.
before you do, I just want to tell you that everything that you're saying is touching everyone so deeply, and it's so wonderful that you're talking about, especially forgiveness, but about, first of all, that our kids are not going to reincarnate before we get up there. That's something that a lot of people worry about. So Rosie's saying, so awesome. I needed to hear that message that our children will be there when I transition. It fills our heart. It's terrible to think that anyone would be worried about that. And so that's wonderful. Also, people are asking if you need to wait a certain amount of time after a passing to get a reading. And I would assume that you probably think not, but I don't know for sure.
I agree. I agree. No, I don't think you have to
Because
wait any time.
Morgan was right there, right when he passed. So there's people who are saying that my granddaughter is also Rosie. I got a rock is the best Charlie Brown quote ever. Thank you so much, everyone. I love that. I love that quote as well. That was just beautiful. So people are just thanking you for all that you've said. And actually, I can send the oh, so cool, Melinda, that your mom confirmed your gift after she passed, which is just wonderful as
Oh,
well,
thank you.
obviously. And let's see, thank you, Melinda. I think I want to hear this, that everyone wants to hear this. So important to forgive and heal, which is true. And Teresa is saying, I'm grateful that you will help us heal relationships. It's really an important thing to realize how important forgiveness is as a part of this journey. But anyway, thank you for listening to that. Let's see. Rosie's saying, love that, Melinda, forgiveness, love and light. I mean, there's everybody.
Thank
Faith
you.
is saying, very comforting to hear this. Michelle saying, thank you, Melinda. Linda is as well. So is everybody here ready for her to do readings, or would you rather keep asking questions?
Yeah, whatever you ladies want.
Everybody's saying
You're saying
yes.
Okay.
So
All right, you got it.
I think she's
Okay.
ready. I think they're ready, and I think you're ready too. So
Okay.
I'll go ahead and mute myself, but I'm going to be watching the chat box. So I would assume that you'll explain how you'll do this, but I can look for people to identify with what you're saying in the chat box, if that's okay with you. Does that sound
Right. So I know because it's a little bit different from me. So
okay.
if I actually just come to somebody, because I'm used to I go direct. So
Okay.
I don't just, how I work is the spirit world steps in, and I know that when I go to direct to somebody, it has to be either that person or the people that are around you to get to understand. So what I'd like to do is, I guess there's 4 pages. Is that true, Elizabeth?
Yeah, there are 4 pages.
So if I go from this page, if everybody doesn't click on and off, if I go like from one page to the next, and maybe I can pick somebody from each group, and then if we have time, we can go back again. Is that okay? And
That
remember,
sounds
this
perfect.
is going to be just a brief hello from your loved ones in spirit. I want you to know that, okay? But again, this is interesting on Zoom, so bear with me while I go through this. All right?
Okay, sounds
When
perfect.
I go to somebody, can they unmute themselves to answer me?
I will unmute them. If you tell me who it is, I'll unmute them. And actually, you know what? I'm going to make you a co-host. So you can go ahead and just unmute them yourself, if that's okay.
Perfect.
Would that be
Perfect.
okay for you to do?
Yep.
Okay.
I got my
Sounds
mouse. Good. Perfect. Okay. All right. So everybody just relax. Just relax and just think about your loved ones. I just want